Hi everyone, this is Jeremy Moskowitz, Group Policy MVP and founder of PolicyPak Software. And in this video, I want to show you the integration of how to manage Symantec Workspace streaming and virtualization applications using PolicyPak. So to get started, I've got three applications here, but I want to prove a point. Let me go to Control Panel and add remove programs here and show you that these applications aren't actually really installed. No, of course they're coming down from the Symantec Workspace streaming agent and will of course be processed by the Symantec Workspace virtualization agent. So they're not really installed, they're virtualized. So when I go ahead and run WinZip here for the first time, as you might expect, it's streamed down from the Symantec Workspace virtual streaming server, and as we can see, processed by the virtualization server. Now, when this occurs, there's some problems, and there they are, which is that users are right away prompted for settings that maybe they don't know what to do. Should it check for updates? Should it not check for updates? What about the security settings about the application and all that? So by way of example here, if I say, don't look at this anymore, right away, that's like a problem for the user. And you don't want to be in that situation. Additionally, if you go to options configuration here, and let's say passwords, maybe you want to make sure that the password strength or any other important security settings are actually delivered dynamically using group policy or Altiris or SCCM or whatever management technology you have. PolicyPak is the magic. It can be deployed using, like I said, either group policy or Altiris or SCCM, anything like that. So for instance, here we go. We've got passwords here. We want to make these settings configuration changes. Maybe we want to lock out cameras. Well, you can't do any of these things using normal group policy, but you can using PolicyPak. So let's go ahead and see that work end to end here. So here, this is my group policy console. Again, I happen to be using group policy in these examples. You don't have to. You can use a full deployment tool like an SCCM, like an Altiris if you want to. So I'm going to call this WinZip and other apps lockdown. I'll right click over here, I'll click edit, and I'll dive down under user side, configuration, and you can see I've got PolicyPak applications, and we've got over 50 packs for you to use, pre-configured out of the box. I've only got a handful of them copied to my management station here. You can see that they're listed here. Things like Acrobat Reader, Acrobat Pro, Flash, Java, Office, Firefox, and tons of other important applications. So if you are virtualizing them and streaming them using the Symantec products, you can now manage those products using PolicyPak. So let's go right to WinZip here because that's the one we're talking about here. We'll go ahead and double click it. And the first thing you should notice is that the actual our pack looks just like the application. So if we head on over to passwords here, we want to check all these important checkboxes and maybe update minimum password length to 11. That's great, but that's not enough. Let's really ensure that that user is locked down. So we're going to right click over that setting, and we're going to disable the corresponding control in the target application. We're literally going to gray it out so the user can't make any settings changes. We'll also go ahead and hide some of these configuration options as well, so users can't mess with those settings. And under cameras, we can right click and disable the whole tab in the target application. So now that we've done that, the directive is locked and loaded into group policy. Let's go ahead and run GP update here. Now again, if you're using a management utility like SCCM or Altiris, that's perfectly fine. You can deploy your directives using those utilities. You don't have to be dependent upon group policy if you don't want to. We just happen to work with group policy if that's what you do want to. All right, now that GP update's completed, let's go ahead and rerun WinZip here. And now let's head on over to Options, Config, go over to Passwords, and there we go. So PolicyPak is the magic. It's delivered these directives plus performed the UI lockdown here under this setting, these settings, checked all 4 checkboxes, and eliminated the ability to use the Cameras tab. Now, if we uncheck these check marks and click OK, you might wonder what happens if the user goes offline or doesn't have contact to a domain controller or anything like that. Well, PolicyPak has the ability to reapply those settings at application launch time. So even if the user is offline or in a subway or in Alaska or wherever, no problem. The next time the application is run, those settings are instantly redelivered just like that. Let's do another one. Let's go ahead and go to Firefox, a very common application. So let's go ahead and run Firefox. Let's just see it real fast. Come down through the Symantec Workspace streaming, and then utilized using Symantec Workspace virtualization. As soon as this is done, though, the question is, how are you going to actually configure and manage the application using either group policy or your systems management utility? And the answer without PolicyPak is impossible, practically. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take a look inside Firefox for some key configuration settings. So let's just go to Firefox and Options. Let's take a look at some things that users typically like to mess up. So the home page, maybe you want to configure a home page for the users, or under security, let's say the user unchecks all three of these important checkboxes. That's not good. They can just click OK, work around your settings. Even if you embed them into the corporate image, there's really no way for you to dynamically manage these settings afterward and also optionally lock it down. And that's what PolicyPak does. So if we go back to our group policy object here, we can go to New Application, and we'll pick Firefox here. And we'll go ahead and double click it, and we'll set the home page. Notice again that the RPAC looks pretty much exactly like the app. www.polycypak.com. And while we're here for security, we will check all these checkboxes and really ensure that those settings are going to be dynamically delivered. All we got to do, once again, is run GP Update. Or if you don't want to use GP Update, you want to use SCCM or Altiris or some other management utility, that's perfectly fine. We have other videos to show you how to do that. All right, now that that's done, I'll go ahead and close that out. Let's go ahead and run Firefox and see if our settings were set dynamically using PolicyPak. So we'll go to Firefox, Options. Oh, there we go. The Security tab shows that all three settings were set, and the General tab shows that PolicyPak is now the home page. If we change this to www.oops.com and they do something they shouldn't do, click OK and click Close. Well, the next time Firefox is run, okay, whether or not they're online or offline, those settings are in fact redelivered. And like I said, you can, if you want to, lock these settings down if you're so inclined. I just happen not to be showing that in this demonstration. And that's it. The best part about PolicyPak is that it doesn't matter if your applications are real installed or virtual installed. Once you set it using group policy or inside your systems management utility like SCCM or Altiris, is that it's always working for you consistently, whether or not the applications are virtualized and or streamed or locally installed. It's exactly the same as far as PolicyPak is concerned. I hope this helps you understand our integration with PolicyPak and Symantec Workspace streaming and virtualization. If you're looking to get a trial or an eval copy of PolicyPak, come to one of our webinars, and as soon as we see you there, we'll hand over the bits. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon.